Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back to our channel, and today we're talking about 2 thought errors that make you a follower and not a leader. So if you want to be a leader in your life, and I'm not talking about holding some formal leadership position, but I'm talking about, you walk into a room and you can tell, regardless of position, which people are leaders in the room and which people are followers. Which people think for themselves and which people rely on what other people think. Which people will do and say, behave in a way that they think is right and that's in their integrity, and which people will be watching for what the right thing to do is. And will willingly, although usually subconsciously, accidentally, innocently, abandon their sense of what is right and their sense of integrity. Often because they're just out of touch with their sense of integrity. And because they have these 2 thought errors, they haven't challenged themselves to go to the trouble of working out what is right and in their own integrity. Let's talk about it. Now, the first thing is wanting to be liked. And for a lot of us, especially for women, this is actually more accurately described as a need to be liked. A lot of us have learned that our worthiness, our lovability, whether we're a good or bad person, is revealed by how liked we are, or whether we are liked or not, or even by if just one person doesn't like us. And we don't want to blame ourselves for accidentally thinking this way. A lot of us have learned this kind of messaging, but we do want to just become aware of it so we can decide, do I actually want to keep rolling with this reason in my life? Or do I actually not believe that? Do I actually not buy into that and I want to change it? So what can drive this need to be liked and therefore acting more like a follower rather than a leader in yourself is that thought error itself, that being liked does reveal whether you're a good person or not, whether you're doing it right or not. And then also I want to mention within that, there are these other misunderstandings of what it looks like to not be liked and what shows that you're not liked. So these thought errors can be, for example, and check your mind as I'm reeling these off to see if these apply to you. If I disagree with somebody, they're not going to like me. If somebody disapproves of one of my opinions or one of my decisions, they're not going to like me. Or that means they'll no longer like me. If a person is unhappy with me, or disappointed with me, or offended or feeling defensive with me in that moment, then that means they're not gonna like me anymore, or they don't like me, right? i.e. if they have an emotional reaction, a normal human emotional reaction that's based on them about you, then that's automatically gonna equate to them not liking you. And that's actually, we find, one of the reasons why we're so resistant to upsetting or offending people. It's not actually as we'd like to think, because we just want everybody to be happy, but because we can make it mean that we're going to lose our relationship with them, or they're going to villainize us, not like us anymore, make us the bad guy. It's because we're so afraid to be disliked. Because, going back to that first thought error, because of what we make it mean, that we're not a good person and that we're not worthy, and that maybe we're doing something wrong. All right, so that is the first thought error that makes you a follower instead of a leader. And this is something that is so important for me to help our members in Dear Darling address, and we do address, because I want my clients and the big, gorgeous, beautiful, brilliant minds to be able to contribute to this world. I want them to be able to show up in the world in all of their goodness, because they have so much value to offer and they can offer so much to so many people. And I want them to even just simply respect themselves enough to do that. And we're inhibited by this need to be liked. We inhibit ourselves from being a leader and we make ourselves a follower when we have this need to be liked. Next, the second thing that gets in our way and makes us a follower and not a leader is an unwillingness to be wrong. An unwillingness to get it wrong, an unwillingness to make a mistake, an unwillingness to not succeed. This makes us a follower and not a leader. Why? If we only step up, if we only step in, if we only take action, if we only speak up when we are certain, 100% sure that we are right and won't be wrong, or that we will succeed and that nothing will go wrong, then we will almost never stand up, step out, take action, take initiative, take opportunities, take risks, because we almost never get these perfect circumstances of certainly being right or a guaranteed outcome. I was working with a client who is both a lawyer and a practicing scientist researcher, and she pointed out this problem to me where she's like, gosh, the world is just so heavily influenced by influencers, astutely named, hey, when there are these brilliant scientists and these highly educated people who are so well informed, but they don't speak up. And a part of the reason that they don't speak up is that they're so aware of their knowledge gaps. The most intelligent people, the most educated people know what they don't know. And when we have this unwillingness to be wrong, this unwillingness to be incomplete or not be able to make sweeping generalizations like people who are less educated are able to do, less informed, then we don't speak up. And we never will speak up. How often do you hear scientists speaking up? There are plenty of scientists who have the personality and ability to translate this information to the world, but it's pretty difficult for a scientist, for a researcher, to say much of meaning when we know that the moment we're making generalizations, we're going to be a little bit wrong. It's the curse of having that expertise. It's the curse of having that amount of information and knowing what you don't know. Whereas people who have a more simplistic and more limited understanding can more confidently make these sweeping generalizations. Now, the thing that I want to point out to you here is you have to make a choice here. Are you going to continue to choose to not contribute anything unless you're in the specific rare circumstance that you're 100% sure you're right, and therefore almost never speak up, contribute, add value? Or would you rather work on your mindset and your emotional capacity, with your willingness to be wrong, to get it wrong, to correct yourself, or to even speak from a place of confidence, and also prefacing the exceptions, the knowledge gaps, knowing what you don't know? Would you rather do that work and shift yourself into this space so that you could start contributing? Or do you want to stay in this place, in this pattern, and holding yourself to this standard that might sound noble in theory, but actually has you contributing less, and therefore adding less value and being less of a leader? You know, I think leaders, CEOs, are incredibly impressive because they have that incredible skill set of being able to take action with incomplete information, do the best with what they have. I personally find that something that's very admirable, and I find it admirable because it's something that I want more of. You know, for me personally, I want more of that. I used to be in that perfectionistic camp, and I used to just want to increase my competence behind the scenes, and once I was competent enough, then I'd let myself contribute. But I've since learned that that just means I'm gonna not add any value my whole life. I'm gonna stay in my lovely little sense of safety and comfort, you know, not ever needing to be wrong. But it also means that I'm not gonna contribute anything, and that is a problem for me. That goes against my integrity. And so I am constantly trying to move myself towards the willingness to be wrong, the willingness to get it wrong, and whatever consequences come with that, in the name of the greater good, right? I can do so much more good if I'm willing to get some things a little wrong, do some things a little bad. But if I'm not willing to do things bad, if I have that threshold too low, then I'm not going to do any good at all. So I'd rather this ratio rather than this ratio. I'd rather this absolute effect with there being, yeah, a bit more bad, but so much more good, versus there being almost no bad or no bad at all, but also almost no good at all. What about you? All right, my beautiful friends, are you right now currently in your life, when you look around the room, are you more of the follower or more of the leader? And the more important question is, which one do you want to be? If you want to be more of a leader, check in. Do you have these thought errors that are driving this follower behavior? And if you want help correcting those thought errors and starting to show up as more of a leader, then Dare Darling is the place for you. Link below to put in your application to see if you're the right fit for our exclusive group coaching membership for doctors. Dare Darling. All right, my beautiful friends, I will see you in our next one.